Right, so here we are. It's episode 4. Joined by a co-host now, Lewis Bryant. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier, a little bit less me stuttering.
He's done us.
Yeah. Joined today by the lads from Postscript, new brand that's just come out in the UK, and hoping to find out a little bit more detail about that and what they've been doing in lockdown. So take it away. Pete, we'll start with you. Do you want to give us a little bit of background about yourself and how you got into skating?
Yeah, mine was the standard story back from early 90s, getting into it on the rec skates, on the Bowers, the FX, and then playing a bit of hockey in the school playgrounds, grinding some curbs and sticking with it, going through the rollerblades, the Solomons, the TRSs, bit of everything then. And then, yeah, I guess it's always been with me. I'm one of that handful of people that never left, but annoyingly never also got better.
Sounds like Mummy treated you through the years with all them purchases that you're banging on about, mate.
Shh, she doesn't know.
She doesn't.
I had to start my own company to make it all the freebies make more sense.
Sick of nobody sponsoring you, so you just went, sorry, I'll just make my own company and wear that.
My name is not Lewis Yoxall. Sorry, Lewis.
That's recorded, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right. He knows. I'll say that one to him. I have done several times today on Facebook. It's okay. So I got into rollerblading, carried on, hung around with a lot of people that were really, really good at skating, and nothing ever really brushed off. So the interest was always larger than the ability.
Then never had a break from it, like the majority of skaters have done.
Yeah, no. I had there was a couple of years when I skated intermittently, but that was through.
So when you say you grew up around skaters and obviously they were an influence to you because they were obviously better than you at the time. What area was this, Pete? Where did you grow up to skate around?
I didn't say that. I didn't say they were better. That's
No, you did.
So St Helens, Wigan, Liverpool, and Manchester. So we used to skate street in Manchester religiously every Saturday, and then do the Bones.
Right. I imagine Swain was quite an influence.
I think it was before Swain.
Right.
Yeah, it was all the lads from Manchester. So St Helens was my local crew, and there used to be a lot of skaters around there then. Like Stu, Dave, the lads that occasionally come and skate with me now, and then a bunch of lads sort of before them as well. And then we used to hang around with the Manchester lot, Tez, Bez, Az, for the pre.
All the Azes.
Yeah, all the Azes and Bezes, yeah. Standard Manchester. And even Burston,
what about?
So we used to skate the original Projects skate park, and yeah, Burston used to come and learn.
Fraser Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him from competitions back then, but I didn't ever see him.
Bones was a local for Fraser back in the day. Used to rip off with Swain, Lee Devereaux, Nick, all the local heads who are now pretty high up. Nice. Everyone knows who they are.
What about you then, Stu?
Didn't stay all that long, to be fair, probably about 4 years, mid-90s, late 90s. Went to art college, and it kind of undone any physical activity that was going to happen. Kind of went off to uni from there, skated a bit in Birmingham, probably about 6-9 months, and then hurt myself. Didn't come back until 3 years ago. So it's basically starting again from scratch. And now I'm in Oxford, and there's a few of us that meet up generally when we can, Sunday sessions at Farringdon Skate Park, that sort of stuff. Most of them being middle-aged blokes coming back, but we got, Stephen and Joe, which are kind of younger and kind of encouraging us to get off our asses and keep skating and everything. But it's mainly been my involvement has been creatively as much as anything with rollerblading.
So an interesting point on that. So you came in sort of 3-ish years ago back into the sport. What brought you back into the sport? What kind of spurred the interest? Was it just friends saying, "Oh, should we just give it a go again?" Or
Not even that. I mean, I wasn't really in touch with anyone from when I used to skate back then. The only people I was really communicating with were people from work, and to kind of get away from that, I used to go for walks at lunchtime to listen to podcasts. And there was an Alex Broskow one. I nearly said Burston, but Broskow, talking about where rollerblading had gone and, you know, how it had kind of disappeared and things like that. And it just kind of sparked off those thoughts. Jumped on eBay, bought a pair of kind of tarmacs, I think it was, broke them on the first session, realised I couldn't skate for toffee. And it's just been kind of progressing, getting back ever since, really.
I see you take your artwork onto the rollerblading side of things, though, as when you go through your Instagram, which, so everyone knows, it's Stu_Mason.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a few little designs that you've been doing on USD carbons. I don't know if anyone can see that.
Those are the donut ones.
The donut ones, yeah. So what inspired you to do that, mate? You've got other ones. There's like Galaxy ones. Like
they were actually the same pair of skates.
Right, okay.
You can probably guess, looking around me, very little stays kind of untouched. Everything gets either a lick of paint or modified or changed, or it's, I can't not do it. It's so ingrained in kind of life. So my living room is also my studio. It's the workshop. You know, I kind of create from here.
The artist life.
Yeah, it is really. And it's starting out as a kind of, you know, I've been a professional creative for nearly 20 years. It got exhausting hitting your kind of mid-30s and you're burned out. It was a really nice way of creating without any kind of need to. You didn't have to do it for financial gain. It was just, you know, the joy of actually creating something because you love it. And it was a scene that was so welcoming when I came back that you just kind of, you run with it. So I started creating one or two things and it grew. Did a few bits. So I did the branding for Death Wax. So their logo is my handwriting with a brush, that sort of stuff. So I love just the kind of being able to add. It's almost an exchange. I missed a lot in rollerblading. So it's nice that I can bring what I missed out because of back. And kind of give a little back that way. You know, use that experience and kind of. And
is that like now a full-time job / income or?
No. No. I'm the world's worst businessman.
You don't work in graphic design or art at the moment. It's just a complete.
Well, at the moment, because of Corona, I'm not really working. I'm picking up a few bits here and there, but it's been a bit of a battle, to be honest.
You're doing a bit though, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit. We've got the postscript stuff coming in.
We'll get there, Pete. We'll get there. You'll come back in. Don't worry about
it.
To jump in on Stu, what Stu will never say is absolutely obsessive. So, like, you put an idea in Stu's head, and then 12 hours later, he's got a finished product. Like, it's insane. Like, I always say, like, hey, should we do this? And Stu's like, I don't know. And then you wake up the next morning to messages of something like fully constructed in this ridiculous scale that you just couldn't imagine to begin with.
That's a good thing, man. That's inspiring.
Yeah, that's a passion. You can tell the difference between a hobby and a passion.
Yeah, you can tell you enjoy doing something, and you still got that love and passion in your head from when, like, the same as like when you go out rollerblading, you think you watch an edit and you see a trick and you're like, oh man, so juiced, I've got to go out and do this. And then the same, like, you have this idea in your head of this artwork and you're putting it on paper instead of putting it on rails.
Entirely. But you know, the wonderful thing is that it was Unity Mag and magazines like that sparked it off in the first place. I didn't know what graphic design was before then. You know, I knew I was artistically inclined. I'd been off for a few like kind of summer school things and stuff, but that you kind of flick through and you see, like, I think at the time I was loving obviously the Senate stuff, but bands like Harbinger and people like that were doing these really kind of early digital graphic stuff. And there wasn't really kind of design done with Photoshop at that point.
Yeah.
And so it was all so new and it inspired so much of what I was doing. It then led me to kind of pursue that further. So yeah, it's Unity's fault I ended up in this mess. So
fair play. And sparking on from work situation, what about you, Pete? At the moment, how with lockdown going on, are you working? Are you at home? going in the office. What's the situation with you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, home is the office. My job's either working from home or traveling. Anyway, and it's just carried on. So I'm really lucky in that aspect.
That's not
I
too
don't
bad.
want to moan about it. So,
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I've been working from home as with as I've mentioned to you before. It's one of them that quite fortunate to be going on. But I mean, at least from that, it seems that you've sparked a connection with Stu and the brand at the moment, which seems to be taking off, and little pieces are coming up every now and again. So if you want to just lay it on us, what's happening with Postscript?
Yeah, it goes back a little bit. So Stu and I were both on UKBC in like the sort of admin team there as well. So that's where we kind of got the first introduction. I don't quite know how it got on to, hey, let's start a business and make some things, apart from just batting forwards between ideas and just saying, hey, what do you think about this? And then, as I say, Stu just then goes, yeah, I can make that work. And then 30 seconds later,
woke up in the morning, he's got 12 different designs on t-shirts in an XL,
only
medium,
one,
large.
only ever one. Like I'd just have like a page of 1 million drawings and be like, oh, which one should we go with? And Stu's just like, it's finished. This is the one. Like, yep. Can't argue with that. So yeah, we did the UKBC thing, and then obviously got talking about histories and skating and influences, and we've got a lot of mutual interests.
So bringing it back though, so Stu, you did a design on a pair of USD Carbons DIYs, I think they were called, where you actually did a UKBC design.
Yes, I did. Yeah, so the Lade collab wheels. So I worked up the designs. Obviously, it wasn't my idea, but that lays with Sam and the team that kind of pulled that together. But I was really quite fortunate to be involved in that. Actually, it's really nice. I've got a pair a set framed on display, but it was just a really nice project to be involved with. So
which wheel was this? Was this the Yin Yang wheel?
The Yin Yang.
Yeah, it was the Yin Yang wheel.
Yeah.
So then wanted to do a pair of skates that kind of did it justice, really, that kind of went alongside it. So the black and white, but it's always nice to have a bit of kind of neon pop in there, So, that's why they came about. It's just fun, it's a nice way of kind of expressing some kind of joy towards the sport as much as anything.
So now we're talking about that, and I assume, obviously, it was a while ago that you did these rollerblades for this design. Are they still on the side looking fresh as anything, or have they been used, or have they been redesigned?
They got used a few times. Then I kind of, realised the Carbons are really uncomfortable skates.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to have like.
So they've ended up on a shelf. Sorry.
You've got to have some real solid ankles to be skating Carbons.
Yeah, they are nice, and they're nice and light, and they give you that benefit when you're kind of learning, but actually they're quite a brutal skate. It's kind of all or nothing, I found. And it was nice to then kind of step back from that a little bit and kind of
actually put a liner on instead of just a solid carbon shell around your foot.
Yeah, it was nice to have a bit
difference.
Of a bit of luxury.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They do feel quite utilitarian, don't they? They are.
So what design have you done on them of recent? Like, what are they looking like nowadays?
Those ones actually, after I skated them for about a month, I put them on the shelf, and they're just looking a bit dusty at the moment.
All right, so you still got them there on the mantelpiece, looking over when you're having a glass of wine, watching a movie at night. They're looking at you. That's nice. I like it. Yeah, it's cool.
So with the design aspects, like you say, the UKBC stuff you've done in the past, coming forward to the modern stuff, the stuff I've seen a few collections now have been put up on the Postscript website. I mean, is that a collaboration between yourselves? Do you just come together with ideas? Like, I've seen the Metal Gear Solid one as the one that really comes to mind as surely someone must be a Metal Gear Solid fan. Are you both fans? Is that what brought it together, or is it just a case of you pitch an idea, the other one comes up with a design, and vice versa? Are you a nerd?
Isn't it? I think we've got influence from similar places, I think, to a degree.
Yeah, similar age and similar.
Yeah, it's kind of films, cartoons, kind of geek culture, really, as much as anything. I think we've both got a particular love of Godzilla. So, yeah, that was kind of one of those things that drove us towards that. And it's just creating stuff that we like, I think, as much as anything. It's an excuse that I don't, or Pete, then have to justify purchasing, this. Well, some of it doesn't exist, for one. There is a place for that kind of conversation within, kind of not only rollerblading, but wider, I think. But yeah, it was kind of geekiness that drove us towards creating some of these things. And
I think it goes a step further, doesn't it? It's kind of, we're both slightly beyond geeks. We're I think nerds prefer word.
It works though, Pete, because obviously with rollerblading not being as big as it used to be, you still need that buyer, let's say, to be buying these designs. And you could be putting them designs on Amazon and eBay, anything, and anybody could come along and say, oh, that's a cool Metal Gear Solid design.
That was our conversation. It was always we've got loads of love for everything that's in the industry, but there is a certain area you think like some standout designs or something that's a bit we don't want to put knives in, we don't want to put a blade on a blade in t-shirts just because it's a little bit cliche. And
we had this exact conversation before we started recording about the companies like Blade Life, Blade Clothing, taking designs and putting their own spin on it from a pop culture perspective. And I think you're doing a similar sort of thing yourselves. I was just more interested to find out kind of if it was one person feeding the ideas or if it's just a collaboration and you seem to have churned out so many designs in such a short space of time. I can only say that, from what you've said, I can only say that to Stu.
You see those bags under Stu's eyes, crack in the whip.
But that's it. And the industry needs that, especially in a time where stuff can start to feel a bit stale, when you get the same boot reproduced in a different colour over and over and over again. Coming up with something fresh and new and putting it out to a market where it's not the biggest market, but at the same time, there's clearly demand. Go on.
Sorry, mate, to jump in, but we looked at a slightly different way of handling it as well. And we were speaking before about the overall model, and the way that we do it allows for it to be done a little bit differently. So a lot of the other companies look at printing, quite standard designs with little risk because there's so much investment. So we use print on demand instead. Yep. So we put all the products are on the website. They take a little bit longer to deliver because everything is then produced and manufactured and fulfilled at point of request. But allowing us to basically have a good versatile range as well. And you just look at the products, like you say, there's loads appeared all of a sudden because everything that we initially worked on, the plan had to shift because of the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
And then whilst we were looking at getting things ready, we just cracked out a load of other designs because we were like, what can we do? And then it just fell together.
Yeah.
As I say, Stu works a million times faster than and know anyone to work.
Fair play. And on that as well, not just the designs, certain aspects of the collection you've got at the moment, reaches not just needing a t-shirt or a sticker. You've got mugs, I haven't seen a Blade company throw out a mug in ever.
Anyone I've seen is Jump Street.
Jump Street did.
And Akon as well.
Fair play. But
ours looks better though.
And it obviously tastes so much better out of a Blade mug.
It is weird though, because that blading type of mug, when you buy that mug from like a company, you buy that from a blading company, you'll be like, oh, this is my new mug. In the morning, I'm gonna have my coffee in this mug now.
Oh, mate.
Where's the wine glass?
I have to get you a glass of.
Mrs. makes you a coffee, and you're like, hang on, no, this isn't my mug.
Get it in.
It does make a difference having that little extra features. It's the same as having a keyring, for example. The keyring is useless, and it's completely useless because it just adds weight to your keys. Yeah, but when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I know like Blade Life, they've touched on that with the keyring and stuff they're doing at the moment. Yeah. So hopefully,
do you remember the Brosco rabbit foot keyring?
Yeah.
I had one of them.
no skater wanted that apart from the ones who wanted to look like Roscoe, but
I had one of them, like, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. I used to roll my face before just to keep me calm.
Yeah, the Senate Sinner one. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, with the baseball bat.
Yeah, horrible, like weird, bald-headed
Yeah,
fella. Yeah, disgusting. No one wanted it really, but it's all for the love.
But
yeah,
we all kind of still worship it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
We all have one.
If
We
you want
wear
one,
it.
go on now. Just go on eBay, about 500 quid if you really want one.
Mhm.
Just to stick it on your keys and watch it go brown instead of yellow.
It's already brown when you buy it. It's
That is
really
true.
old.
Yeah. So as we've touched on the postscript situation, what is that you've got in the background, Pete?
Thanks, mate. Nice little segue there.
Lovely.
Yeah, so we're obviously introducing some of the stock that we've got, and we thought we'd run a little bit of a competition live on air, but tomorrow.
Yeah.
So basically, live on air means
Yeah.
we'll announce it right now and put a mention in the link when we put the video up.
Actually,
But what we'll actually do
I'll
is a draw tomorrow or Saturday.
No,
when do
I
you want to
think
do it?
we'll let it run a week, shall we? We'll do a 7-day draw and then we'll pick a winner at that. So I'm going to do an Instagram post.
Are you going
whilst
to do an
guys are
Instagram post
talking.
of where you want people to be following yourself, Postscript, and Stu?
Postscript, Bladen with Brad. Sorry, Stu, do you want you as well? That might work. I haven't thought about that.
Nobody needs that.
So we'll do.
I disagree.
Stu.
Stu.
Stu
People need to see them
needs to see the
designs, they're
artwork, man. It's good.
Yeah.
So the most ideal
So
way
we do-
of doing it, where Instagram competitions, how they run is they tend to, you share the post and you tag 3 friends in,
3 mates.
and you follow 2 accounts that you would like them to follow. Stu would be a great one because they'd be seeing potential designs, be seeing his artwork and seeing the potential of what could come with the company or add on more to the company.
Good.
Nobody needs to see Pete Colquitt's designs. I'm sick of seeing top souls. So,
You mean top rolls?
oh yeah, sorry, top rollers. Yeah, no, Mark Nichols isn't on your Instagram, mate. Don't worry. So you're gonna run it for a week from tomorrow, from when the video is uploaded, and people are gonna.
Yeah,
Just
let's
do
do
it,
Friday
see
to Friday.
Cool.
So tag 3 friends.
Yep.
Follow Postscript. Follow Blading with Brad.
Right.
And then
We'll bang all the details below and
Yeah.
in UK BC and maybe rollerblading if we reach out to the Americans.
Let's
Who
do
knows?
Blade Hate. They'll love this.
Oh, they would hate this.
Yeah.
Hate it hard.
Completely unedited. I've not
Yeah,
edited it.
now you've gone off script again to talking and rambling on as you usually do.
Yeah.
What are the designs that you've got in the background?
So, Stu, over to you, mate.
no, I forgot what it's called. Self Hate.
That's the one.
Basically, we weren't going to launch Postscript, or we weren't even close, really. We've got a lot of stuff we've been working on. Some of it we've now released, but at the time, I can't remember how it came about. Basically, Pete had a conversation with me and challenged me to do a little doodle. I think I was doing an art battle at the time. And Pete said to me, "Can you do this?" I wasn't quite sure. I sat down and did it. And that design was one of the Sunday service one on the hoodie. That was a fun one. You know,
Bring it a bit
kind
closer,
of that
Pete.
era where you all sit around with your mates and watch, the escape films. We were kind of lamenting that a little bit.
A little bit higher?
Just a bit up.
Move it up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
And it was going to be like, one of my black and white drawings. It was really low light, white print on a black hoodie and stuff like that. A bit like the one Pete's got on his back right now, actually, which is Godzilla one. But he's walking through the Japanese streets with a pair of skates.
And that's a design that you've done?
Yeah, that's one of ours. That's on the shop now.
Wow.
That's just a hoodie with a full back print, and you can see just the front print on there.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
what's
that's
the
cool.
front? I haven't seen that
It's
on
a
the-
Japanese lantern. It's the neon sign. Brad, can you enable screen sharing, mate?
I'll try. We had this thing with Cam the other day, and I'm like,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I don't understand technology.
No.
There's no editing. This is just off the cuff. Just get closer to the
Putting you on the
camera. We'll make
spot.
it work.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we've got. All right, I can move my camera. That'll work even better.
Yeah, that's probably easier.
Why have you got no pants on, Pete?
You can see that. That's my neck. What are you on about?
Why have you got a raging erection?
Hello.
All right.
You do those videos as well.
He said he's got split screen, so I don't know what else he's watching. You see?
This only fans. You're all laughing because you all know.
This has been fun. I'm nearly finished, so I've got to clear up.
Pete's my biggest supporter.
So
subscribe twice over.
With this all going on, then Stu, are we going to see you a bit more on the rollerblades?
Yeah, I mean, I skate a lot. I've been skating it pretty much every day during lockdown just to try and keep some sanity, really. But it's been bigger wheel stuff. It's less dangerous, keeping me a bit safer. And actually, quiet streets. It's been quite a joy. I didn't think I got some big wheels ages ago, and I kind of floated around a bit on them. Didn't enjoy it all that much. But there's something in it. And I found with the power slide, the Kaiser power blade frames,
80 mils.
That you can grind on them, and it's just kind of opened up a whole lot more stuff, which is really nice. And it feels, I don't know, it just feels a bit more confidence boosting, I suppose. Not having to push so hard to get speed. And then when I am there, I can sustain it, and
so it's
getting
kind of
fat
the
and
same.
old and everything hurting.
It's the same. It's the same situation for myself. So I used to skate anti-rocker, and then I decided I would. What is this?
We
upgraded the meeting.
Run out of time. We removed the foot. What is that?
When we're coming to a 40-minute limit because there's too many people.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow.
So I used to skate anti-rocker. And I've now skate flat setup, and the amount of effort that you have to put in is like halved.
Yeah, but you used to fly around anyway. You used to go.
And now I've got an extra 4 wheels to go even faster.
Yeah. Oh, it's really annoying.
Is it annoying because you'd like to go as fast?
I have to try so hard to get half the speed.
It's probably because I'm 6'3", Pete, and my legs are pretty much at the quarter or at the box before you've even dropped in.
About 3
so,
foot
so if this is coming to a time limit.
No, it said it's been upgraded. We're good.
Yeah, so it's been extended or something.
They must be trying to entice me in with that pro.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'm probably going to take that because I think there are going to be a few more of these where we've got multiple people, especially seeing as we don't know what's happening with lockdown. Like we'll just keep rolling out with numerous people with collaborations, and there's other companies as well.
One involvement.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. And then I'm going to have this idiot sitting next to me, probably ongoing. So this is
nice.
a new thing, but it's going to be a regular thing because, let's face it, he speaks a lot better than I do. So.
Maybe the accent is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little bit clearer than I do.
Said no scouser ever.
Yeah, so much more shit. But I'm okay with that. I can drink more wine.
We are hopefully gonna for ourselves as well. Gonna expand this. So we're gonna be setting up a little room. We're gonna be looking at getting a logo together. Stu, but we'll figure out. You've got 12 hours. We'll see you in the morning. But yeah, we're gonna expand it ourselves, so we're not just gonna be sat in a garden. It's gonna be a bit more professional, and then also when the lockdown's over, it's not gonna be like this. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna try and get people in for a session.
Yeah,
have a sit down, a few beers.
Yeah,
you know how it is. Just try and keep things flowing.
In a way, Jump Street podcast, but the UK.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not called.
And we're not very good at skating, so it's far from that.
Depends who you ask.
People at church.
Ask a good skater. Ask us. Yeah, you're pretty good.
Anyway, it's been good talking to you boys, and hopefully you're staying safe, getting through lockdown, and we'll get the competition rolling. We'll maybe bring it back either onto this platform in a week's time, or if you want to do a Facebook or Instagram live, however you want to do it, just get in contact and we'll get things rolling with that side of things. But I mean, from my point of view, it's been great talking to you both. Stu's first time I think I've ever spoken to you. So
yeah, I think it is, man.
It's been lovely speaking to you, Pete.
I think that's the same.
Yeah,
Myself.
Pete. We'll leave it probably 6 months.
Yes. I hope there's an extended isolation period.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Unless you're gonna take us to some banging like rails in a school like last time, and then it's all good.
What you just said.
Probably not after those comments, Brad.
That one section of what you just said about it being extended, I'm going to send that to your work now, so they can hear you.
You know where I work, so.
Anyway, been great talking to you boys.
Likewise, man. Thanks very much.
Stay safe, guys.
Thank you.